If you haven't had a staph infection, you probably know someone that has. These nasty infections are caused by the bacterium Staphylococcus aureus. But staph doesn't just cause the skin infections that we're familiar with. It can also cause infections like pneumonia or bloodstream infections, among many others. And while we have antibiotics to treat these infections, they often don't work. And even when they do, these infections come back up to 70% of the time. And in 2017, 20,000 people in the United States died from staph infections. So in the battle against the bugs, staph is definitely representing the supervillains. Why are the supervillains winning? Well, when people talk about staph, they normally talk about MRSA, a type of antibiotic-resistant staph. But if staph is resistant to an antibiotic, a doctor will be able to tell from a standard lab test. So while these MRSA infections are bad, we actually have a few antibiotics we can use to treat them. So the bigger questions are, why aren't these antibiotics working, and why are people still dying from staph infections? Well, part of the answer might be antibiotic tolerance. See, unlike resistance, antibiotic tolerance won't be able to be picked up in a standard lab test. But what is tolerance? Well, when staph is causing an infection, it's under a lot of stress, from your immune system trying to kill it to the antibiotic that your doctor gives you to clear it. And while this antibiotic might work at first, eventually all the stress sends staph into a low-energy lifestyle that we call the persister state. You know when you have so much to do that you just decide to take a nap instead? It's kind of like that. And when staph is napping, or in the persister state, it's not growing or dividing, but it's also not being killed by the antibiotic. However, if you stop taking your antibiotic, some of that stress goes away, and now staph can wake back up and get back to growing and dividing and causing another infection, often in another part of your body. But here's the important part. If staph is awake, we have a better chance of killing it with antibiotics. So our lab has found that one of the main ways that your immune system tries to kill staph actually prevents antibiotics from working by sending staph into the persister state. Your immune system is essentially your body's defense system, and one of its defense strategies is to launch a toxic form of oxygen at anything that tries to invade. But instead of this toxic oxygen killing staph, it just sends it into this persister state, so that antibiotic you were taking that might have been working stops. For my thesis project, we found that this toxic oxygen causes staph to shut down its central energy production. And without that central energy production, the antibiotics simply don't work. So now we're focusing on how we can either reverse the persister state or manipulate your immune system to prevent the persister state from ever happening so the antibiotics can work better. So let's recap. Staph infections are bad news, and antibiotic treatment failure is way too common. And in the battle against the bugs, staph definitely has the upper hand right now. But if we can figure out how this persister state happens and how we can reverse it or prevent it, we have a chance of helping the antibiotics come out on top. And in a world where antibiotics win in the battle against the bugs, we all win. So stay tuned and stay healthy.